I'm gonna try. Work till I die. I'm gonna fail and get up, 'cause I'm not giving up on my dream.
Hi my lovely Frosty fam, it's me, Karen Frost, here at Nail Decadence with another video for you. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. If you are a subscriber, welcome back to another video. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. So, in this video, you're going to see me have a complete nightmare with one of the nails. And yeah, so as usual, I'm showing you what I will be using at the beginning of the video. And this box of foils you can see me holding up, that's from Spd London. I'm going to be using that tartan Burberry style nail foil. Yeah, and the colours that I'll be using, I'm using the Neo Flawless and the Neo Clear Acrylic, but I've mixed my colours. My subscribers know I make my own acrylic colours, so if you are new here and you didn't know, I mix all of my acrylic colours myself. So yeah, if you'd like to know how I do that with mica powders, I will link a video in the cards for you right here, so that you can check out how I mix my colours myself. Anywho, let's get on with what I'm doing. So, I'm creating an extended nail bed using that flawless colour. So I placed the bead down, shaped it to where I, kind of into the shape that I was going for, then used my craft knife to cut it and make it an So now that I've finished with the capping and cutting of that V-shaped extended nail bed, I will now apply the colour that I'm using to butt up against it. And this is a black that I've mixed myself. So I'm butting that right up against the wall so that when I come to file, it will reveal a nice sharp line. Or so I thought. You'll see what happens later, but yeah. This nail was an absolute pain in the rear. I don't know why I kept getting it wrong, but it wouldn't go right. So yeah, I don't know why it didn't work, but it didn't work. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. And I have to do it again because it just didn't look good. And even after when I did it again, I still wasn't happy with it, but kind of just went with it because I wasn't going to do it again and again and again. I was done. It's like, no, it's staying like that now. I'm done. Can't keep doing this. So I've applied that black, and now I am capping that layer as well. Obviously, you saw me use the craft knife and cut that layer in off the black first, and then cap it with the clear and get that as neat as I can. And then I had a bit of a frosted bit where a bit of powder there, so I just sort of lifted the acrylic with my brush and sort of dampened that frosty looking area, and then poured the acrylic back over it. I should have dampened the acrylic down before I applied that bead. My own fault. That's why we dampen the nail down. It's to stop that kind of frosty looking in your clear type effect. Yeah, that's why we dampen the nails down, and I didn't do it. Oh, my hair's in the way again, sorry. But I'm literally just cutting that clear acrylic now. Just trying to get that nice and straight. Well, it's not straight, it's all on diagonal, but you know what I mean. Nice and sharp, we'll say. Removing those last bits with that craft knife and just making sure, well, at least I thought I was making sure that it would be a nice neat nail. Little did I know, hey, little did I know. Ugh. And even with hindsight, I still don't know why this didn't work. I still don't know why it didn't work. I don't know. So if any educators or, you know, old school nail techs are out there who know about these things, yeah, let me know, because I have no idea why this didn't work. It just doesn't make sense to me. So in with another colour. This time I'm using a sort of deep grey colour. It's not too dark, but sort of mid-grey, we'll say, medium grey. And again, I'm cutting that colour in to get nice sharp lines so that I don't have to file to get sharp lines. That's why I'm using the knife, so that I can just cut the shape nice and neat and you know, sharp, and then don't have to wait for it to set before I can file it. I managed to pull the nail out of Handolly's finger like a lunatic and then messed it up, so had to add a bit more of the grey. Alright, kind of smushed it a bit and messed it up, putting it back in. Again, cut that, try and get that nice and straight. Well, I keep saying straight, it's not straight, it's on a diagonal, it's on an angle, Karen. Stop saying straight. Nice and sharp and clean. And then cap that as well, of course. My colours I always use for just as a colour, not as a strength powder, because obviously where I've added mica to them, they're no, you know, it's not going to be a strength powder. You know, I'm not a chemist, I'm not testing to see if these are strong enough on their own, you know. So and besides, if you just use them for their colour and cap with the clear, your colours last longer. So win-win in my opinion. Use less colour means you have to buy less colours and, well, in my case, make less colours. And it just, you know, clear is the cheapest acrylic, so you're better off using that at the end of the day. And it's the strongest too, so use your colour for colour and then build your strength with your clear. Makes sense to me, for all the reasons. So now I'm adding the beige colour and butting that right up along the walls of the grey, making sure that I get right up to that top edge. And I know this nail looks really messy, but the idea behind it is when you file it in, you'll reveal crisp, sharp lines. That's the whole point of doing this nail. But it doesn't go to plan, and yeah, I know I keep saying that, but you will see later on. So once I've finished and I've got that nice and opaque colour, as opaque as I'd like it to be, and it's all covered nicely, I go in with the clear acrylic and build my strength and structure. So this nail is sort of, as it's gone down, I'm building the structure as I go by capping each colour before I go in with the next one. So looking at that nail from all angles, making sure there are no dips, and if there are any dips, to add acrylic so that the dip disappears. So I'm looking from all different angles, turning the nail all different ways, Once I'm happy with that, I shall move on to the next nail. So on this middle finger, I'm using that beige colour again, as you can see, and a thin layer of thin layer of colour. Like I said before, I use my colours as colours, not as strength powders. So I won't build the nail with the colour. I'll just do a thin layer, just sort of painting it on really, until I get its nice and opaque coverage. So it's a full nail of this beige colour on this nail. And I'm smoothing the nail as I go, trying to swipe those sidewalls as well to keep the shape as best I can. That way I reduce filing. And now that I have covered that nail with the colour, I will go ahead and add my clear acrylic, and this is where I add my shape and structure. Now I didn't dampen that nail down properly, and can you see that little bit of frosting in the middle of the nail, sort of right where the fingertip is? Yeah, that's why we dampen the nail down. And I weren't with it when I was doing this set. I really should have just sat my butt down on the sofa rather than doing a set of nails this day. I was not in a good shape at all. So yes, I was making silly mistakes. I just wasn't with it. I was in a lot of pain, on a lot of medication. Yeah, not the best time to do nails, but I just wanted a distraction, you know. So yes, next time I will just go on YouTube and watch videos rather than trying to film one when I need a distraction next time. Oh, do these things and I just look back and think, what were you thinking, Karen? The problem is I wasn't thinking. Yeah, it's such is life. We all do these things, don't we? It doesn't matter. It's only nails, you know. It's not life and death. It has imperfections in it, so what? It has imperfections. I've never claimed to be perfect, and I never will claim to be perfect, so yeah, it is what it is. Not a big deal. So on to the index finger, and I will be doing an ombre on this finger, so I'm going to use that grey colour at the free edge. And as you can see, I put that first bead down, blended it back so that it faded really nicely, which will allow for my cover pink to go over the top and then ombre into that grey really nicely without a harsh line. So I'm just making sure that I've got the coverage I need on that tip and making sure that nail is nice and smooth and is in the best shape as I can get it with my brush. Then I will let that start to set up whilst I move on to the ring finger and do the same with the black this time. I didn't fade the black as well as I should have. I went too high up on the nail with it, but I make it work. Don't worry. So on with that cover pink, the Flawless from Nao, and I start where I've ombreed the grey. I start right there, immediately there with the first bead, and these are small beads because I find with ombres it's better to go in with small beads and sort of work your ombre in. I don't find it works as well for me by just using one bead. It's possible to do it, but I find I like to and fro and sort of I'm pernickety about a lot of things. So yeah, that OCD, it's whatever. So I'm very fussy with things. Yeah, so I prefer to go in with many little beads and get that blend as perfect as I can get it. Not that it will be totally perfect, but as close to perfect as I can. And then I will, once I'm happy with it, I will cap that nail with clear acrylic, of course. And of course, I'm also going to build my strength and structure with the clear, like I said many times before. And this is where I build the strength Now I've checked that now from all angles, and if I need any more at the apex area, I will go ahead and add that, which I did indeed do. Again, looking at it, so you need to look at the nail from both sides. You also need to look down the barrel of the nail to make sure it's even on both sides. You know, look at the nail all the way round and make sure it's nice and even, but that you've got a nice slope up to your apex and a nice slope down towards the free edge. Yeah, just what's the word, sculpt, and just sort of sculpting that curve in the nail. Do the same with the ring finger, then blending my cover pink over that black. Black's not an easy ombre to do. It's one of the hardest, if not the hardest, of colours to ombre, because it is so dark. You know, it's the darkest of dark of colours. It is definitely a harder colour to ombre, and like I said before, I went up too high with the black. If I had not gone up as high as I had done with the black, it would have been easier for me to blend it, because I would have been able to fade it better. So it's partly my own fault that it didn't ombre as well as I would have liked, but it didn't come out too bad. I mean, it's looking pretty cool now. And then I will cap that nail as well with clear acrylic. Again, look at the nail from all sides, make sure that the correct thickness is there. Add as many beads as you need, and make sure the sides, you know, you're swiping down your sides to try and keep your shape as best you can, to again reduce filing. Right, nearly there. If there are any lumps and bumps and dips, try and smooth them with your brush, you know. It's better to smooth it with your brush than to have to file it out, basically. And you don't want a hefty, thick nail. Might look like I'm putting a lot of acrylic on, but I'm not. It's only because it's so zoomed in. These are quite small beads that I'm using, so these nails are by no means thick. And I loathe, absolutely loathe, a thick free edge. I can't stand it. So yeah, my free edge is always credit card thickness or less. Don't like a thick doorstep on the end of my fingers. No, thank you. So I was looking at the nails as a whole before I let them set up and I start filing, and I noticed that the index finger and the middle finger were just a little bit low in places, so I added a tad more clear acrylic to them, because I always, when I finish doing all the nails, I look at the whole, all four fingers as a whole and how they look beside each other, and if one nail is thicker than the others, it's going to look weird. So yeah, make sure you look at the nails as a whole so that all the nails look very similar. So now you will see I'm filing in that little finger, and as I'm filing, thinking I'm going to be revealing excuse me, I'm going to be revealing this crisp, sharp lines of colour, I'm noticing that it looks terrible. I'm like, what went wrong? Oh my goodness, why does it look like this? And I'm thinking, okay, I'll go down a bit further. I'll file down a bit further. The clean lines must be there somewhere. Surely they're there. And I'm filing, and I'm filing a bit more, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really not working out. This looks awful. I'm not happy, but I keep persevering because I think, okay, maybe I can I can salvage this. And then I get to a point where I'm like, okay, no, this is, nah, there's no saving this nail. And that's the point where I go, no, this nail needs to be done again. Now, like I said, why didn't it work? It didn't work. And I still don't know why it didn't work. It just baffles me. I don't know what went wrong. All I know is it did. I don't know. It just doesn't look right. It's awful. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. You can see I'm looking, and I'm like, yeah, no, I can't leave it like this. It looks awful. So, as you can see, there's some colour left on the nail there where I filed it back. Yeah, I just got the e-file back out and just filed it all back down. Let's start again. So, take 2 of that colour block nail. So, again, we repeat the steps. We'll do the reverse French. We'll cut that in with the good old craft knife. Yes, we will. So just making sure I have got enough of the cover pink there. Trying to keep it along with that line that I cut with the craft knife. Trying not to lose the shape of that too much. Ooh, bent the nail there, pushing it in. Bit too aggressive. So I didn't like how it looked because I'd gone over with the acrylic after I had cut it in. It didn't look as sharp as I would have liked it, so I decided to wait for it to set up and then file it in. So at this point I give up with the craft knife. I think, right, I'm just gonna file these colours in. Let's just file them in. Seeing as cutting it wasn't working for me. I'm baffled. So if anyone knows why it didn't work, please let me know. Because I'd like to troubleshoot it. I still haven't worked out why it went wrong so badly. So it looked fine as I was doing it, so yeah. Anywho, I've applied the black to that wall that we have built. I say we, I mean me. I don't know why I keep saying we, because it was me. It's all me. Anyway, adding the black, and I'm making a huge, absolute huge mess with this black, as you can see. The first bead, excuse me, was way too dry, and so it was lumpy and bumpy. And then I think by this point I'd had enough, and I was so over this nail. I just went all sloppy and just didn't care anymore to be neat. So past caring. I just wanted it done. I didn't care how. So this is some sloppy work. I'm making a mess. I'm getting it on the skin. This is what not to do. Please don't do this with your clients. Don't treat your clients like this. It's really not a good way to go. So I waited for that black to set up, and now I am filing that in, because like I said, by the stage I'd given up on the craft knife. I was like, give up with you, craft knife, go away. I'm going to file it all in and file it as I go, so that I can literally see each one as I go and make sure that it's going according to plan. So I was not looking to have a reveal that didn't work. I was like, I'd rather not have a reveal than have a reveal that doesn't work. I couldn't, I was like, if that happened again, this set of nails, I would have just thrown it to one side and this video would have gone in the bin. You wouldn't have seen it at all. So yeah, there are some days where I am really dogged about just keep going, just doesn't matter what happens, just keep trying until you get there. But on this day, this was not a good day for me. Oh, wow. Thinking back to it, it's just crazy. Oh, look, I'm going in with the craft knife again. For what reason, I don't know, because it's, yeah, I've been filing it in, so I don't know why I attempted to go back in with the craft knife again. Maybe because it's faster. Because it is faster than having to wait for it to set up and then file it in. Using the craft knife is way quicker. Definitely way quicker. I'm getting it as straight as I can with my brush. And butting that grey right up all over that black to make sure it is right to the top, over the wall, so that, yeah, when I file it in, we get that crisp line that I am after. So again, we're filing in. Oh wow, this was a lot. Because I'd already done all the other nails, it was a pain in the backside waiting for each layer to set up before I could file it in. That was so boring. Oh wow, it was so boring. If I was to do this set again, or a similar thing again, definitely with the craft knife thing makes it a lot quicker, but because I didn't trust it not to come out right again, if I had the other nails to do in between each layer of colour, it would have made it more bearable. See, if I was waiting for the grey to set up whilst I was ombreing the index finger and then go back to it and file it in, it would flow so much nicer, you know. Wouldn't be such a pain in the backside. But well, it was a pain, to say the least. But I'm a fusspot, and I wasn't going to just leave that terrible nail on. No way, Jose. I couldn't just leave it as it was. So I've added that beige colour to the free edge of that nail and butted it up against that grey. And again, I will let it set up, and then I will file it in. There we go. And then I will file over the top and do the reveal of that triangle chevron French type colour block. And it worked. So yeah, pain in the backside, but it worked. It did the trick. It's like such a relief to think, oh, finally it worked. This nail is finally done. I do cap the nail though, because as I said before, the colours that I mix myself, they're not strength powders. I only use them for colour. So this nail does indeed need capping, and I will do that. But I'll just let you watch me file in that lovely chevron. I mean, it still wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong. It still wasn't perfect, but it was a darn sight better than that first attempt, for sure. We all have bad days with our nails, and this was a bad nail tech day for me. I'm just glad it wasn't on a real person, because that would have been so bad, like so bad. You can see it's still not perfect, so it's a shame, but I wasn't going to do it again. It's staying like this now. It's not perfect, it's still a bit uneven, but it's more acceptable, and I'll give this a pass. Like, okay, I can photograph you, it's not, not the end of the world. It's not perfect, but I can live with that imperfection. The first one, that was way too bad for me to let that pass. So yes, capping that with clear acrylic, and of course I will let that set up and file that nail in, of course, as well. I don't think I showed it. Did I show filing? I probably don't show filing after this bit. Pretty sure I don't. So once I have finished capping this nail and making sure that the structure is sound and the nail is well built, we will move on to the rest of the design. It's not top coat time yet. We're not topping off and keeping tough just yet, so don't go anywhere. We're not finished yet. There's a bit more designing to do. Oh my goodness, I'm really faffing with this clear acrylic right now, aren't I? Come on. I'm just making sure there are no lumps and dips and bumps and filling them in. That's all I'm doing. I keep checking from all angles and I can see where the light hits the nail, whether there's a dip there or not, and just making sure I have enough acrylic on. And I think I actually put too much on, especially around the sides. I've totally lost the shape there. So yes, onto the designing. So I've got that box of foils and I've picked out this one, like I said in the beginning. It's from Spd London. There is a link in the description box to Spd London's website. And I'm using the Spd London Foil Gel, which is absolutely amazing. If you want a full nail of foils, it's brilliant for that. So I apply a thin layer of that. We'll get that cured in my LED Sun UV lamp for 60 seconds. And now it's time to top it off and keep it tough. Ta-da! Yay! So first we will add that foil. Press that, rub that. Make sure I get in all of the creases out. So as you can see, I sort of pull it up and then smooth it back down and get all the creases out. That way my pattern isn't disrupted. And once I know that the design has transferred on nicely, I will remove that foil like so, and then we can top coat. So now I'm going to be using a matte top coat to top coat these nails, and it's Spd London's matte top coat. So as we are at the end of the video, thank you ever so much for watching and returning to my channel if you are a subscriber, and if you are not a subscriber, thank you for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe if you would like to. If you've enjoyed this video at all in any way, please go ahead and click that like button for me. It really helps me out. And if you feel like it, you are most welcome to leave me a comment. So that's all I have for you this time, peeps. You take care now, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.